This is CBC Vancouver News.
More tariff threats. President Donald Trump now says he will hit movies made outside the U.S. with a 100% tariff. What it could mean for Canada's film industry. Plus,
prayers are the best way to reconcile, to move forward in such a difficult time.
Healing is going to be a long process, but I'm so grateful that we're healing together.
cross-culture unity. How people from diverse backgrounds are coming together to pay tribute to the victims of the Lapu-Lapu Day tragedy and support those impacted. Also,
I saw several Filipino runners representing themselves with a flag.
Vancouver's done a really good job of making sure they've upped, police presence and making sure that everyone does feel secure and safe.
security remains top of mind as thousands of runners flood the streets of Vancouver for this year's BMO Marathon, a week after the deadly Lapu-Lapu car ramming. Hello, I'm Janella Hamilton. Thanks for joining us. President Donald Trump is threatening to expand his tariff war, now targeting films made outside the U.S. In a post earlier tonight on his Truth Social platform, Trump says he has authorized the Department of Commerce and the Office of the U.S. Trade Representative to slap a 100% tariff on any and all movies coming into the U.S. that are produced in foreign lands. He says the move is aimed at helping the dying film industry in the States. The announcement comes after China, a country heavily impacted by Trump's tariffs, said it would reduce the number of U.S. films it imported. The implications for the movie industry or exactly how the tariffs would be implemented is not clear. Dozens of people from Vancouver's Sikh and Filipino community came together today in a show of cross-culture unity. It comes about a week after the Lapu-Lapu Day festival tragedy. Soab Sandhu reports.
We all are family.
A congregation of more than 100 people at Vancouver's Khalsa Dewan Society listen as a Sikh preacher shares words of comfort from the podium.
We believe in the universal good of God.
During the gathering, a prayer was held to honor the victims of the Lapu-Lapu Day festival car ramming, a tragedy that saw 11 people killed and several others badly injured, many still in the hospital recovering.
Prayers are the best way to reconcile, to move forward in such a difficult time and such a difficult moment.
For the Filipino community, Sunday's event is a show of cross-culture unity and compassion.
Healing is going to be a long process, but I'm so grateful that we're healing together and that your presence and your words and your gestures and the food and really our shared values have come together to uplift everybody.
A special prayer has been taking place at this Gurdwara since Friday morning, as devotees take turns reading thousands of pages of Sikh scripture while praying for peace, strength, and healing. Many here say they share the grief with the Filipino community.
We are the one community and a neighborhood, and it affects us a lot.
As a whole community, we are together on that issue because that's a very, very sad situation.
The overwhelming support from everyone.
Many people from BC's Filipino community were in attendance, as well as provincial and municipal leaders.
To come together in prayer, to lead with dignity, and to welcome others is just a powerful reminder of the compassion and the unity that defines us all.
Aquino says support is critical to help those impacted by the tragedy move forward and to make sure no one gets left behind.
All of your just good intentions and kind words really do sustain us. They sustain me.
Temple officials say the tragedy is a reminder of how deeply connected people are in Vancouver, regardless of their diverse backgrounds. Soab Sandhu, CBC News, Vancouver.
Organizers say a record-breaking number of people turned out to run in the BMO Vancouver Marathon today. It's the first major public event since the deadly car ramming at the Lapu Lapu Festival last weekend. Despite heightened anxiety for some, marathoners say police presence provided a sense of safety.
Oh, it was amazing.
My friends were doing it, so I'm like, okay, I'll sign up. I've never done it before, so why not?
It was my first one ever, so it was a huge accomplishment.
Carved up a lot.
I was going to say it was great, but I'm here.
Vancouver's done a really good job of making sure they've upped, police presence and making sure that everyone does feel secure and safe.
How sad that we can't have fun events without those sorts of things happening. You can't hide. You just got to be careful, and you got to make sure that we're remembering them.
I saw several Filipino runners representing themselves with the flag. I was really empowered to see people just going through it despite everything that's been going on. So that does give me a lot of optimism.
Delta police say a man armed with a knife who barricaded himself on a transit bus is now in custody. It happened just after 8 o'clock this morning on Annacis Island. Images from the scene earlier today show armed officers surrounding a double-decker bus. Crisis negotiators and emergency response teams were brought in to assist. Police say several passengers and the driver were safely evacuated from the bus and no injuries were reported. After about 3 hours, the man was taken into custody. The incident forced temporary road closures near the Cliveden Avenue overpass and Highway 91 off-ramp. Firefighters in Surrey responded to a commercial structure fire this morning in the Newton neighborhood. It happened near 134th Street and 71st A Avenue. Crews say when they arrived, they were met with heavy black smoke and flames erupting from the back of the building, prompting a call for additional firefighters and equipment. In total, 28 firefighters and 9 trucks worked to contain the blaze and protect nearby buildings. The owner of a skateboard shop at the front of the building that caught fire says his business suffered smoke and water damage.
Skateboards are made out of wood, so if that's all soaked, can't sell those. They're going to be all damaged. So I guess we're just going to have to slowly go in there, assess the damage. Next door, my parents own Sinclair's Motorsports. Maybe we can bring a couple things in there to still help the community, because that's usually my main focus, is trying to help out the local kids and keep them out of trouble by giving them skateboarding.
No one was injured in the fire, but some residents in nearby buildings had to be evacuated. The cause of the fire is under investigation. 2 former BC farm workers are speaking out about the workplace conditions that caused them to file an official complaint. Though a federal investigation found no problems, the province awarded 5 migrant workers $80,000. Tara Carmen explains.
Danielle Concha and Francesca Reyes left Chile, dreaming of a better life in Canada.
I leave my job there because I think here I have a really good opportunity, a better job, better house, better life.
Their first job was living and working on an Abbotsford farm. It wasn't what they expected.
It was horrible to see because the house where we live there was very dirty.
We work 12, 15 hours per day, 7 days a week.
Concha says he and his partner were hired to do quality control of fruit, sort it and clean it, but their contracts described them as farm workers. He and Reyes were paid the same as berry pickers, with no overtime or vacation pay, and then their contract was cut short. In 2021, they were 2 of 5 workers who complained to Service Canada, which launched an audit. Federal inspectors found no problems, but they never spoke to the workers.
So really coming forward is really challenging for workers. The fear of loss of employment is particularly high.
In this case, it seemed hopeless.
But this January, BC's Employment Standards Branch awarded the 5 workers close to $80,000 in compensation for unpaid overtime, vacation pay, and misrepresenting the length of the contract.
Yeah, a long time waiting for that.
Despite the decision, the Abbotsford operation where they worked is still able to hire foreign workers. The company told CBC that Service Canada has found our organization to be compliant across key areas and reserved the right to appeal the provincial decision against them. But Danielle and Francesca worry other farm workers are still stuck with no voice.
Many people don't know nothing about their rights.
They're speaking out for change, so others who follow in their path have a stronger voice. Tara Carmen, CBC News, White Rock, BC.
Changes are coming to same-day medical care in Nanaimo. Starting tomorrow, people will be able to call ahead to get triaged and book an appointment instead of lining up in person. As Claire Palmer reports, service providers say it will drastically improve patient care and reduce barriers to access. The shift comes days after Nanaimo's second urgent and primary care clinic opened its doors.
We're addressing the needs of the patient. So this is our ear, nose, and throat room.
This brand new urgent care center in Nanaimo features new accessible exam rooms, outpatient programs, and culturally relevant care for local Indigenous people.
Nanaimo as a community deserves it. It needs it.
It also promises to eliminate unnecessary and long in-person waits with a new phone-in triage system for same-day care, which doctors say will save patients and doctors time.
With the lineup in the walk-in, if you are the 50th person in line and you might have the more urgent need, you may not see somebody that day in comparison to the first person or the second person where they're able to go into those booked appointments.
The impact on that person's life to achieve nothing has been significant, whereas the beauty of the phone system that's going to open up here is from the comfort of their own home, their workplace. They can phone up, they can get put in a list, they can be triaged by a nurse, and they can be signposted to the appropriate care.
The urgent care center will complement services at the other walk-in clinic in Nanaimo, which will also implement the new phone system. Ockelfort says the new urgent care center will take some pressure off the whole system, and the new clinic manager says some of the new features will enable better care.
We can then also make sure that we're placing them in the right room for that level of care, with lots of opportunity for us to engage our trauma-informed and our culturally safe practices.
Ockelfort says he's hoping the new center will help in physician recruitment. Nanaimo is above the provincial average in people without a family physician.
So this building in itself is actually proving to be quite an attractant to physicians because it is so clean, modern, well-equipped and bright. Nanaimo also has a twin challenge. It needs more doctors, but it also needs the spaces to put new doctors.
As they hope to hire 3 new doctors in the coming year, eventually hoping to pair thousands of people in need of a GP. But that will depend on how the recruiting goes. Claire Palmer, CBC News, Nanaimo.
For the third night in a row, the emergency department at South Okanagan General Hospital in Oliver will be closed overnight. Interior Health says emergency services will be unavailable until 7 o'clock Monday morning. People in need of emergency care are being told to go to Penticton Regional Hospital, about a half an hour away. Interior Health did not say the cause behind tonight's service interruption, but did point to staffing challenges as a reason for last night's closure. A nonprofit in Vancouver's downtown east side says it's helped hundreds of people file their taxes this year. They say people experiencing homelessness often find it difficult to file on time, if at all.
Folks will often not file their taxes due to just not having identification, really not having access to computers, or really not knowing the process of actually how to make it happen. So our teams go out, connect with people out in the community.
Mission Possible helps people who are living with disabilities, facing homelessness, substance use, or other barriers to employment. The organization works to connect residents with job opportunities. They say they helped up to 500 people file their taxes by the April 30th deadline.
Now, if you don't file your taxes, you may not receive the benefits you are personally entitled to from the government. And my only wish is that everybody that is entitled to receive their benefit receive their benefit.
Data shared by Mission Possible shows 1 in 5 low-income individuals in Canada don't file their taxes. Still ahead, anticipation is building for the first in-person meeting between Canada's newly elected Prime Minister and the U.S. President. That's next. Stay with us. To Alberta now, where evacuations are underway in a rural area southwest of Grande Prairie due to an out-of-control wildfire. Local fire crews, along with Alberta Wildfire, are responding to the fire that's burning east toward Highway 40. The county of Grande Prairie says the evacuations of nearby homes is a precaution. Fire crews on the ground are being supported by bulldozers, helicopters, and air tankers. Evacuees are being told to head to the Pomeroy Hotel in Grande Prairie. Crews are expected to work overnight using night vision helicopters. Events continue in the Netherlands, marking 80 years since the country's liberation from Nazi Germany and paying special homage to Canada's role in winning it. Today was the Netherlands Remembrance Day, ahead of tomorrow's Liberation Day celebrations. Chris Brown has more.
On this day of remembrance in the Netherlands, Canada and some of its oldest soldiers who gave the Dutch back their freedom were singled out for gratitude.
We are deeply moved that so many veterans are present as well.
The Canadian War Cemetery in Holton is the final resting place for nearly 1,400 Commonwealth soldiers, mostly Canadians, who were killed in the final months of the Second World War as their units drove out Hitler's troops. The Dutch appreciation is not token. Canadian flags are everywhere. And at Saturday's parade in nearby Apeldoorn, thousands came out to personally thank the Canadian vets who are able to return 80 years later.
Thank you for being here.
Mary Simon is Canada's Governor General.
This friendship and this sense of belonging to each other is very strong.
It's a sense of wonder.
102-year-old George Brewster from Duncan, BC, flew Spitfires over occupied Europe and the Netherlands.
You meet people and realize how gracious and how kind and how they remember. And I think that remembrance is the thing that is etched in my mind.
James enlisted with the Royal Canadian Engineers.
More than anything, these commemorations are about keeping stories and memories alive. These students from Owen Sound and Meaford, Ontario, traveled a long way to learn about fallen soldiers from their hometowns.
It's close to home, like knowing where he grew up. We went to the same high school, and it's kind of like crazy to think that we're like similar age, like he's not much older than me.
To conclude this solemn day, a helicopter dropped 15,000 poppies. Monday will be filled with happier celebrations of liberation. Chris Brown, CBC News, Holton.
Fresh off his election victory, Mark Carney has another dramatic day bearing down on him. He meets Donald Trump Tuesday in Washington, facing head-on the issues that have dominated Canadian politics since late last year. JP Tasker reports.
U.S. President Donald Trump is renewing his 51st state taunts ahead of a high-stakes meeting with Canada's newly elected Prime Minister.
If Canada was a state, it wouldn't cost us. It would be great. It would be such a great, it would be a cherished state. What a beautiful country it would be.
But he's ruling out the use of military force.
I don't see it with Canada. I just don't see it. I have to be honest with you.
This will never, ever happen.
Mark Carney is keeping expectations low for Tuesday's Oval Office meeting, where other world leaders have recently faced Trump.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
As at that meeting with Ukraine's president, U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance is expected to be on that couch. Like his boss, he's critical of Canada.
I'm not pretending those discussions will be easy or they won't proceed in a straight line. There'll be zigs and zags, ups and downs.
At the top of the agenda are U.S. tariffs, the original border security and fentanyl-related tariffs currently exempted for CUSMA-compliant goods, levies on autos, currently with similar exemptions, and global tariffs on steel and aluminum, in effect at 25%.
He has a mandate, a strong mandate, to negotiate with the United States.
The Liberal government says it's a chance to turn the page.
My hope and our hope is that this will be the continuation of a productive conversation and a productive relationship between our two countries.
It's unlikely that the relationship will be sorted out within a single meeting, but it's certainly a good start.
What are you expecting from Carney after this Trump meeting?
We expect him to deliver on what he promised. He promised Canadians.
Canada's Conservatives have big expectations when it comes to tariffs.
We're expecting him to come back with either a deal to lift them all together or a path forward or significant progress. And I think it's fair to hold politicians to the standards that they set for themselves.
Despite the rhetoric, there are signs the relationship is moving in the right direction. While Trump labeled Justin Trudeau the governor, he's calling Carney a nice gentleman. JP Tasker, CBC News, Ottawa.
Here we have a live shot of downtown Vancouver looking north towards the Burrard Inlet on a mostly clear night. I'll have your full forecast next.
This is Vancouver is a new CBC podcast where we explore the issues, the stories, and the people that make this place home. Listen to This is Vancouver wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Amy Bell, and this is your CBC Inbox.
Are you ready to kickstart your summer, or do you know someone who is? CBC BC is offering a paid 7-week summer internship for a First Nations, Inuit, or Métis youth aged 18 to 35 in one of our bureau locations. The program's designed to inspire Indigenous storytellers, provide hands-on experience in the media industry, and contribute to meaningful storytelling. To apply, visit cbc.ca/bc.
All right, it is time now to take a look at our weather for the week ahead. Let's begin with a quick peek at the current temperatures around the province tonight. 0 in Fort St. John, rain in risk of thunderstorms in Kelowna overnight with a low of 3. And on the island, mainly clear with a low of 4 in Victoria and 6 in Tofino. Heading into tomorrow, some rain expected in places like Dease Lake, Terrace, and Bella Coola. Over in Prince George, a mix of sun and clouds and a high of 15 for tomorrow. Much sunnier in places like Kamloops and Kelowna with a high of 20. And on the island, sunny and clear skies with a high of 18 for Victoria. Heading into our 5-day forecast, 16 is our high for Monday, much warmer on Tuesday with a high of 20. It'll feel more like 22, and then those temperatures look like they will begin to drop by Wednesday. That is your late news for this Sunday, May 4th. Thanks so much for joining us. To keep up to date with all the latest news, head to our website at cbc.ca/bc. Your next local news is on the early edition on CBC Radio 1. That starts tomorrow morning at 5:30. Hope you have a great start to your week.